Hi everyone, this is Team Green Capsule. Our topic is digital inclusion and related building. Our presentation will be divided into four parts, which are problem statement, objective, short-term solution, and long-term solution. Each will introduce the first part.
All right. So the digitalization of grocery shopping is a major trend in the FMCG industry. Walmart, a pioneer in e-commerce and digital expansion, indeed has its own online grocery shopping service, offering customers free shipping with no order minimum, no markups for online grocery shopping, and savings and rewards for Walmart members. So for customers, shopping groceries online saves time, brings convenience, and comes with extra benefits like accesses to Paramount Plus and gas savings. So it makes sense to expect that the digitalization of grocery shopping would meet warm reception from consumers, except for the fact that people just don't prefer online grocery shopping, especially for fresh produce. A 2019 Gallup poll found that 81% of Americans have never bought groceries online, and that 83% bought groceries in person at least once a week. In 2022, the Gallup poll showed that while the number of those who have never bought groceries online dropped dramatically to 58%, there are still 82% of Americans that bought groceries in person at least once a week. So this observation leads us to ask the why question. Despite all the perks of online grocery shipping and delivery, why a majority of people still have a sticky attachment to shop their groceries in person? So according to a group of survey data from Morgan Stanley, 84% of people say they decided against ordering groceries online because they prefer to physically see and choose their groceries. But from here, we can continue to ask the why question. Why would people want to physically see and pick their groceries? So let's assume a scenario where people buy bananas. Some like their bananas a little green, and some prefer the bananas that are perfectly ripe. Some prefer firmer ones over the softer ones, and some might give tolerance to bananas with bruises, but not to those with cuts. So when people shop bananas in person, they immediately acquire first-hand information about the bananas, of their color, their smell, their firmness, etc. And this knowledge informs them to make flexible decisions. Some who think the banana today are exceptionally better than usual might purchase more than originally planned, and some might just leave with an empty hand altogether. Conversely, this information acquiring decision-making dynamic is completely missed out in the current form of online grocery shopping. In this setting, the communication costs between customers and shoppers are non-negligible and not even necessarily worthy, for the customers and shopper can have very different definitions for a perfectly ripe banana. But more importantly, the consumers are in a position where they have zero knowledge about what they're buying and how the food's produced. In other words, consumers become the very receiving end of the food supply chain with almost no control power over what they choose to eat. In fact, if we trace back to the history of produce acquisition, we would realize that the digitalization of the food supply chain is accompanied by a continuous alienation between producers and consumers, which leads to consumers having less and less information about where and how their food is produced. At the very advent of agricultural civilization, consumers were ultimate experts of what they eat because they themselves are producers of the food. When retail stores came into the picture, consumers were steps away from producers, but they still got basic information from clerks who were expected to have the almost artisanal knowledge of customers, of providers, and of conduits of information. However, with the invention and digitalization of supermarkets managed by barcodes, by RFID chips, by automated checkouts, the only possible point of contact between the consumers and producers became the tiny labels on the produce. From this point onwards, the people selling the food and buying the food know precisely almost nothing about its origins. So we return to the question, why would people want to physically see and pick their produce? Because it's the only easy and accessible way for consumers to have control over their food by exercising the information gathering, decision-making mechanism within the limits imposed by the hyper-digitalized marketplace. It's almost counterintuitive that digitalization processes deprive information provided to consumers about where and how their food is produced. And we want to fix that by reconnecting consumers to producers with the assistance of digital technology. Digital inclusion, then, is about using digitalization processes in a way that lifts up the veil on geographical and social relations and information, concealed by the depersonalized context of markets. More importantly, it is about reinstating the value derived from the human relations that produce the commodity, the goods, and the services. Digitalization itself, it's neutral. We just have to use it in the right way. So we hereby make both short-term and long-term recommendations to achieve this end.
In the short term, Walmart can create a shopping model that allows consumers to participate in the entire process. Consumers will have real-time access to all information about the grocery process from the first stage of production to the time it hits the shelves. Walmart can partner with local farms to engage consumers deeply from the time the crop is planted. In the case of oranges, for example, consumers can reserve a portion of the fruit from the particular orange tree months in advance. They can visit the orchard where the oranges are grown at any time and find the tree they have reserved. Or they can follow the status of the orange tree they have claimed at any time through online video made by the farmer. Once the oranges are ripe, consumers can observe the whole process of picking oranges on site or online and select the fruit they are satisfied with. These selected oranges will eventually be sent to customers. This shopping model has emerged in other parts of the world. In China, some companies have launched innovative models for rice. Consumers can reserve a plot of land for this season's rice harvested through a website. After reservation, the land will be farmed under complete supervision of the consumer, who can keep track of how the rice is growing on the land, either online or offline, to ensure that the growing process is green and pollution-free. Once the rice is ripe, it will be processed under the supervision of the consumer and then mailed to the consumer. This shopping model allows consumers to get enough information about the product to help them overcome the disadvantage as they are at when shopping online. But it is worth noting that this shopping model will inevitably greatly increase the cost of shopping, which means that there are many consumers cannot afford to choose this shopping model. This model would exert a correcting effect on the marginalized roles of producers and consumers in the food supply chain and enhance digital inclusion by allowing both consumers and producers to regain decision-making power enabled by the full flow of information. This model would also help cultivate deep local expertise at both ends of the food supply chain that encourages agroecological farming techniques and eco-friendly consumption habits. So Walmart should also retain original grocery sales in offline stores, first in some of the more developed agriculture areas to pilot this full flow shopping model and gradually spread to more places with a steady progress.
So our long-term solution is to narrow the distance between consumers and Walmart from the perspective of technology and community, and further promote consumers' trust in Walmart. It is to build a more solid relation between consumers and Walmart and thus reduce the effect of marginalization of digital technology to consumers. The original trust mechanism comes from consumers' trust in the Walmart platform, and the new trust mechanism will be established based on two perspectives, technology and community. Moving to the next slide, the first 2 points are improvements in technology. The first is the improvement of Walmart's original platform, such as better after-sales service, which further promotes consumers' trust in Walmart. The second trust is products. By optimizing and further detailing product description and using VR and other technologies to allow consumers to touch products more intuitively, these methods can reduce the marginalization of digital technology to consumers. The following 2 points are community aspects. By encouraging relatives and friends to recommend comments on social media, and based on comments around the community, consumers' understanding and trust in products can be enhanced. Finally, increase consumers' knowledge of offline stores and farms through regular contact with them. Moving to the trust in goods, Walmart should adopt new technologies such as VR and AI to clean up consumers' expectations and preference for online shopping. By simulating real-life consumption scenarios, consumers could have more engagement than traditional e-commerce. Providing proper feedback with warm words and appropriate coupons is also beneficial to convince consumers to shop at Walmart. With this psychological and material stimuli, Walmart could create a friendly atmosphere targeted at urban and suburban population.
Considering improvement of trust of trust in community. By clicking on social media links for certain products, consumers can share product information on their Facebook page and write down their opinions. Their friends can then see the posted information and visit product pages on Walmart by clicking on the posts. Walmart could also construct channels for customer enterprise interpersonal communication to achieve effective information sharing and invite community consumers representatives to participate in product design or service process design to enhance consumers' sense of community belonging. If Walmart adds community features and integrates with social media to fuel social interaction to better cater to consumers' specific needs, consumer trust in both community and social media can contribute to consumers' overall perception regarding whether Walmart is trustworthy. Interacting with friends, neighbors, and the community can significantly influence the customer's purchase process. Moving on to the trust in Walmart, Walmart could improve consumers' willingness to buy and improve the satisfaction of users' consumption experience based on three paths: the convenience of purchase, convenience of payments, and convenience of acquisition. In addition, Walmart should not only pay attention to the maintenance of the offline stores, but also to the supervision and management of online platform, establish unified privacy and product quality management regulations offline, and provide better after-sales methods to enhance customer satisfaction and trust. Moving on to the trust in offline stores and farms. To enhance the connection between sites and consumers, offline physical stores of community e-commerce have an essential impact on the continued use of consumers. Therefore, according to the characteristics of community e-commerce and local conditions, reasonable promotions and marketing strategies should be set, such as launching community price guessing activities through offline stores or holding farm field trips, festivals, and other activities to magnify the influence of the community residents on the surrounding population and improve the promotion efficiency. Moving on to the last slide, the biggest difference between the new trust mechanism and the original trust mechanism is that the ultimate goal of the new strategy is to ensure consumers' trust in products, while the old strategy relies more on consumers' trust in the Walmart platform itself. That's all of our contents, and we really appreciate the opportunity that we are given to participate in this challenge. Thank you.